the hidden strategist behind Hitler's war machine. As the Nazi regime thundered across Europe, its monstrous goals were not only fueled by ideology, but meticulously calculated through strategy. The brutal cruelty of Himmler and Goebbels, there existed a quieter figure, one who did not shout in speeches or wave flags, but who shaped how those wars were fought. This man was not often in the spotlight, but his fingerprints were found on every major military operation of the Third Reich. In the shadow of giants like Göring, Himmler, and Hess stood the architects, the bureaucrats of warfare, who translated Hitler's visions into devastating action. Among them was Alfred Jodl, a military mind deeply entrenched in the Nazi command structure. His loyalty to Hitler was absolute, and his influence on the conduct of the war was profound. While not known for bloodlust like some of his peers, Jodl's role in orchestrating death from a map room was no less deadly. From soldier to general, Jodl's rise to power. Born in Würzburg in 1890, Alfred Jodl was a career military man from the start. Educated in the Bavarian military tradition, he served as an artillery officer during World War I and emerged from the trenches with a reputation for discipline and efficiency. He remained in the army throughout the fragile Weimar Republic years, climbing the ranks during a time of political upheaval. Jodl's true ascent began in the 1930s as he integrated into the expanding Nazi military hierarchy. His intellect and quiet loyalty caught the eye of top commanders. When Hitler began reorganizing the military to suit his war ambitions, Jodl found himself at the center of strategic planning. In 1938, Jodl was appointed to the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, OKW, where he became a close associate of Field Marshal Wilhelm Keitel. Together, they formed a conduit between Hitler and the army, translating Hitler's aggressive visions into executable military commands. Jodl was not a political Nazi, but he showed no hesitation in aligning himself with the regime. He played a crucial role in the invasions of Poland and France, refining blitzkrieg tactics and coordinating troop movements with remarkable efficiency. His written orders bore the tone of a man who saw warfare as science, not slaughter. While other Nazi leaders sought public glory or expanded personal empires, Jodl operated in silence, buried in planning rooms, focused solely on victory. His belief in military obedience was unwavering, and that belief would ultimately condemn him. Instruments of strategy. Jodl during World War II. Jodl's role during the height of the war was that of the operational brain. From his position within the OKW, he issued countless directives, including those enabling atrocities. One such order, the infamous Commissar Order, called for the execution of captured Soviet political officers. Jodl reviewed and signed this without protest. He also played a part in shaping the scorched earth policies enacted during the German retreat from the Soviet Union. Civilian infrastructure was to be destroyed, populations abandoned to famine, and resistance met with immediate execution. These strategies had devastating humanitarian consequences and became a key feature of German withdrawal operations. Though he never personally visited the death camps, Jodl was well aware of the broader mechanisms of terror. His signature appeared on orders that ensured the Wehrmacht cooperated with the SS in occupied regions. In France, Yugoslavia, and Greece, his directives facilitated hostage killings, village burnings, and systematic reprisals against civilians. Jodl's war diary revealed a commander deeply involved in coordinating military operations with the political demands of the Nazi leadership. He liaised directly with Joseph Goebbels to ensure military briefings aligned with propaganda efforts. Reports were carefully edited to maintain public morale, even when defeat loomed. Within the Nazi hierarchy, Jodl was regarded as loyal and efficient. He rarely clashed with other high-ranking figures like Himmler or Keitel. Instead, he functioned as a bridge between field operations and Hitler's increasingly delusional commands. When generals complained of impossible orders, it was Jodl who relayed and rationalized them. Despite mounting defeats in 1943 and 1944, Jodl's allegiance never wavered. He continued to craft defensive operations, promote total war policies, and extend a war that had already claimed millions of lives. Even as the Allies advanced and Germany's infrastructure crumbled, He signed orders for mass executions and forced labor reallocations. His loyalty was to command, not conscience. He was no mere clerk. He was the conductor of operational strategy, cold, precise, and dangerously effective in transforming ideological madness into battlefield orders. The Fall, Surrender and Trial. In May 1945, with Berlin in ruins and Hitler dead, Alfred Jodl signed Germany's unconditional surrender on behalf of the German High Command. The war that he had helped orchestrate ended not with resistance, but with his pen. The image of him signing that document marked a symbolic end to Nazi military dominance. Jodl was promptly arrested and transported to Nuremberg, where he stood trial alongside other top Nazi officials. He portrayed himself not as a villain, but as a loyal soldier carrying out orders. His defense hinged on military duty and the legality of following commands. However, prosecutors at Nuremberg laid out a stark case. Jodl's role was not passive. He was not merely following orders, he was shaping them. Dozens of documents bore his authorization for war crimes, including the killing of hostages and the deliberate destruction of civilian infrastructure. Witnesses testified to his involvement in occupation policies that led to mass starvation and executions. Despite this, Jodl showed little remorse. He claimed ignorance on the Holocaust's full extent, a defense undermined by the very documents he had signed. On October 1, 1946, Jodl was found guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity. He was executed 16 days later. His final words were brief, military, and unapologetic, a man who, to the end, believed in the righteousness of obedience over morality. Jodl's story is not that of a bloodthirsty ideologue, but of a man who turned military precision into a tool for mass death. He did not kill directly. He did not scream hatred in public squares. But from the quiet corridors of the OKW, he helped direct one of the deadliest wars in history. Unlike Goebbels or Himmler, Jodl avoided fanatical rhetoric. His strength, and his danger, lay in his discipline. He showed what damage could be done when intellect and strategy are divorced from ethics. To him, war was a duty. The consequences were simply collateral. After his death, his legacy remained controversial. In 1953, a German denazification court posthumously exonerated him, only to reverse the ruling later. Even decades later, arguments over Jodl's guilt continued, reflecting deeper questions about obedience, complicity, and responsibility in authoritarian systems. His name, once buried in army reports and operation files, now stands among the condemned. Not for ideological fervor, but for the cold, efficient machinery of war he helped sustain. Alfred Jodl reminds us that sometimes the deadliest actors in history are not those who scream, but those who quietly obey and execute.